Champions League Round 2 starts in a few moments' time. Welcome back to Ramatuelle, Tropez. It has been a fascinating opening round of Global Champions League action. Only a single rail falling between 9 teams. And in case you're not too sure what that means, it means that half of the field, 9 teams of the 17, are only separated by a single fence. In other words, all of those 9 teams are very much in the mix to go on and win today. And the bigger the field, the more competitive it becomes, the more exciting it becomes come the end of the night. So that is beautifully designed and beautifully built up to the Global Champions League second round starting in a few moments' time. One of those changes, now again, we'll talk to you about changes in a few moments' time. Between round 1 and round 2, managers can make changes. It is part of the strategic element of the GCL. I believe there have been changes to the Prague Lions. They are powered by the Czech equestrian team. They are one of the many teams on 4 penalties. Rosie Turner standing by with the Prague Lions. Let's get their thoughts. Rosie.
Yeah, Mark, actually the Prague Lions have just headed off to walk the course one more time. As we know, round 2 can be very different to round 1. We've just had the start list out as well. It's a very quick turnaround here in Ramatuelle, Tropez. So we've just had the start list out for the Prague Lions. We have Niels Brunzels coming in. We're just going to move out of the way because we're currently on a bit of a line and we don't want to stop any of these riders being able to walk it. Anna Kelnarovo, as we spoke to her earlier, we haven't seen her for a while and she delivered a fantastic clear for the Prague Lions. And as Mark and we were discussing a little earlier, they're in that top 5 fight at the moment. They're a consistent team and they look like they could be really strong today. I'm just going through a couple of the other changes. Natalie Dean comes in for Cannes Stars, powered by Iron Dames. If you look further up the list as well, for the Tropez Pirates, who had such a fantastic week in Cannes last weekend, Duarte comes in for the Tropez Pirates. The Rome Gladiators stay the same with John Whittaker and Roy Van Beek. So I just need to have a little look through a few more of those changes, Mark, because as we said, we've only just got the start list through, but there are a few changes. And as we said, it's going to be competitive because round 1 was pretty much a clean sheet for a lot of these teams. So it feels like we're going to be starting again.
All right, Rosie, thank you very much. I'll give you a bit of a helping hand, allow you to grab some of those riders. As it stands now, Zoe Contero comes in for the Mexico Amigos. There is a horse change for Carlos Ancorero. Double horse change for New York Empire, powered by Lugano Diamonds. Spencer Smith and Scott Brash, winners here back in 2023. They both make horse changes. Michael Duffy steps away from the Basel Cosmopolitans. Andreas Skau comes into the mix. Prague Lions, as predicted, Niels Brunzels comes in. Anna Kelnarovo steps away from the team. Edwina Tops-Alexander, no surprises here, brings in the outstanding fellow Castlefield, the gelding now 15 years of age already. Natalie Dean, as we heard, comes in. No changes for Scandinavian Vikings, the Stockholm Hearts. Wow, what an opportunity to have a rider and horse pairing like H&M Indiana and Marlon Bayer-Johnson to come into the mix. For Istanbul Warriors, horse change for Simon de Lestre. No changes, as we've come to expect from Razorback International. For Daniel Deusser and Shanghai Swans, well, only a horse change for Max Kuhner. Valkenswaard United, they don't make any changes. Well, they do, I beg your pardon. There was a horse change for Hans-Dieter Dreyer. And more horse changes for Madrid in Motion as well. Interestingly is going to be what they have to jump, what they need to go on and compete with here later on tonight. Let's show you the virtual rankings and we'll get some thoughts from the man who has designed the course himself. Gregory Bordeaux is the course designer today. These are the virtual rankings. In case you're wondering what the virtual rankings look like and what they mean, well, quite simply, as you would imagine, if play were to stop immediately, this is what the new rankings would look like at the end of Global Champions League Round 1. The Shanghai Swans would continue to lead. Cannes Stars would remain in second place, as would Valkenswaard United. But the Tropez Pirates, we saw them climb after last week's stage. Prague Lions would make up some ground, but the rest of that ground lands up being made on that second page, as the teams, based on that second half, will land up making big points. The likes of course, the Doha Falcons, who have been severely struggling in 2025. They would make up a massive jump, yet still find themselves only in 12th place. Let's talk about the course. Let's talk about what they're going to have to jump, and what a pleasure it is to have Gregory Bordeaux, the course designer, join us live in the studio. Gregory, welcome. It's very nice to have you. We always enjoy having you here. How has time in Ramatuelle been for you? Okay?
Yeah.
Stressful? Busy?
No, yeah, busy, of course. Always for the global champions too,
Yeah.
of course, because you have the timing very tight between the two rounds, yeah.
We'll talk about round 2 in a moment. Let's focus on round 1. What are your thoughts, your reaction to how the riders did round 1?
Okay, I think finally it was a lovely course. The first one was fluent course, not so big. I wanted to build the normal course for the first one, just for to set up the good track. For especially to save the time. We have 2 parts for the first one, or the rider can save the time. The second round will be totally different.
Talk to us about the second round. Course walk is underway. The riders are busy walking the course now. What can we expect? What have you tried to do in round 2?
Okay, of course, I analyzed the first round. After the result, we have 5 teams. I think
5,
totally,
yes.
5 totally clear. The second one, it's more challenging. It's more delicate. Okay, I put 3 verticals 160, and the rest of the Oxer is 150, not more, but 160 for the spread. The course is slightly different, more technical. It's my point of view is to prepare the Grand Prix, especially.
Do you think time is going to be a factor tonight?
Yeah, I expect it to have maybe 2 clear, not more.
Not more than 2 clear?
Yeah, 2 teams totally clear. You have 5. Normally. With my experience, especially with the Global Champions Tour, the GCL, normally when you have 4 or 5, after we're down with 1 or 2.
Well, we look forward to seeing how it goes later on. I know you're a bit...
I hope.
We'll wait and see. I know you're a busy man. Gregory Bordeaux, thank you very much. The course designer today giving us some updates as to what to expect in that upcoming second round. I believe now Prague Lions standing by with Rosie Turner. Let's get some thoughts from Prague. Rosie.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. As I promised, I would grab the boys from the Prague Lion team into round 2. Peter, I want to start with you. Round 1 was actually pretty good, just an unlucky fence down for you. But how good is it to have Anna back riding on the team?
It was. I think she did a fantastic job today. It was a long time she rode in the team, so I think she was a bit nervous to do good, but she did fantastic, and it was really nice to have her in the team. She's the owner of the team, so it's always nice that she can ride with us.
She's been managing the team, owner of the team as well, but to have her back on board, Niels as well, how much was a bit of a relief for her, do you think?
I think it was a lot. She's building up over the last month new horses, younger horses, trying to be ready again for the top level. And she's a hard worker, and if you can then make straight away a clear for the team, I think you can be really happy.
Peter, we were just watching you walk the course, and you've re-walked quite a few of the lines. How much more difficult is this to round 1?
Okay, it's also the qualification for the Grand Prix as well, so there were quite some clear rounds the first round, so I think that's why he put it a bit more technical, and also a few fences, few very big and tall verticals, but also a few lines with options, and it's more delicate than the first round. Also a plank in, and I think a little bit everything, so I think it's a decent class now, yeah.
Niels, we often talk about how consistent the Prague Lions are. You're very much in the fight for the top 5 at the moment. How important is it that you stay in that area at the moment?
I think it's really important, but we are trying to get on the podium. and I think it's time for it. But okay, we have a strong team. The team spirit is very good. We are always around that place 4, 5, 6, which is actually very good for us. Let's try for more.
It's also one of those weekends as well that we don't often see so many clean sheets after round 1. How much is it all to play for into round 2? Do you feel like it's more of going to be a round 2 game this weekend?
Yeah, of course. Okay, there are 5 or 6 teams on clear, but it's always like that. The game is only played when the second round has been ridden, and I think it's also today you see the difference in the course. Second round, I think we will know the result at the end, and everything can still happen, like always.
Well, listen, I'll let you guys carry on walking the course. As we said, it is a much bigger and more technical course than round one. Thank you so much to the Prague Lions, who had a very good round one, just one down for Peter de Vos. But Anna Kelnerova, the owner of the team, back riding again, having produced those horses to come back to this top level. And she went clear. And as Peter de Vos said, maybe a bit of a relief for her to come in and produce that clear for them, Mark.
An outstanding round from Anna Kelnerova. Thank you very much to Rosie Turner. And you could not ask for two more experienced minds. If you have Peter de Vos, you have Niels Brandtjes coming in for a second round. We remind you that despite not being part of that group of the teams on double clear, with just a single fence separating those two teams, or those two groups, I beg your pardon, the Prague Lions, with that commitment, with that experience, with Niels Brandtjes and with Peter de Vos, they are firmly still in the hunt here for a podium, as they point out. Let's give you an idea as to what the start list looks like now for Global Champions League Round 2. I remind you that the start list is in reverse order of what took place in Round 1. So unfortunately, the Paris Panthers, the highest scoring team in Round 1, means that they will go first. Rome Gladiators, very early to go as well. Tropez Pirates, what a disappointment for them after winning the previous stage, now coming in as the home team. Loads of excitement, loads of potential for them to go on and produce a second back-to-back result. But unfortunately, lots of fences going down for them. It means they have a very early start. Mexico Amigos, New York Empire, former champions here, powered by Lugano. They will not find themselves anywhere near that late start. And Prague Lions, as we said, about halfway through the field, just under that halfway point, because of that many teams on double clear and that large group of teams all on 4. And that starts from all the way from Istanbul Warriors down to the Prague Lions. That's how big that group of teams on 4 penalties in, and arguably all of them still very much in the hunt for an opportunity to get onto the podium later on tonight. You saw a beautiful shot there of the ring a few moments ago. The course walk officially underway, and the sun, it's still very far away from setting now during the European summer, but it has started to cool down, which is a bit of a relief as well. And that man walking down the middle of your screen there is Gregory Bordeaux. You would have heard from him a few moments ago, the course designer, just sneaking out of the frame there. He said that he's taken into account what took place in round 1. And because of that, he's now made some changes for round 2. So he is always on his feet, always thinking, always trying to react as to what took place in round 1 and how we can try and combat that and provide some challenges for the upcoming second round. That is his job. It is up to him to challenge these best riders of the world, but to make it exciting, to make it fair, but to make it very challenging as well. Think about how difficult that is for a course designer to try and balance every single one of those factors. It is why, as you see, a bit of a sweat on the forehead of Gregory Bordeaux. It is a tough seat to have. Let's go back to Rosie Turner now, back in the ring for us. Rosie, you've had an opportunity to walk around there. What have been some potential recurring themes? What have some of the riders been saying as they've now completed their course walk for the second round?
I think you make a really good point there, Mark, about the course. We looked at round 1 and a lot of the riders were saying that actually it's a pretty fair round 1, which you would expect as well in this sort of arena. But then into round 2, it's definitely looking tougher. A lot of the riders re-walking lines and lines and lines again and again. And as Peter de Vos said, there are lots of options as well, which is why they often walk the lines again, because depending on the type of horse they have, they might want to be looking at different ways of jumping it as well. I think if we just look at the start list again, though, Mark, we've got quite a few horse changes as well. A few rider changes, but a lot of horse changes. I want to have a look at some of these fences up close. I don't feel like we get to do that enough. This is the final fence on the course. It's a huge oxer as you come to the end of the course. 13 fences in this course, and obviously it's got the water jump underneath, which often for the horses, they're so professional, these horses. They know exactly what they're doing. They've jumped a fence like this hundreds of times, but it can make them pick up a little bit more. It is a big and wide oxer to finish. It also goes straight into the stands as well, so hopefully no horses get distracted by that. It's a fantastic course, and as we were saying earlier, the arena is a little bit narrower here. It's a lot longer, but it's a little bit narrower, so it's very different the way to ride it. The fences come up a lot quicker as well. But yeah, definitely looking at the start list, we've got some rider changes, but we've got a lot of horse changes as well, Mark. So I'm wondering how round 2 goes. As we said, round 1, it was pretty much clean sheet. I think round 2 might be very different.
I think that is very much going to be the case. Rosie Turner, thank you. We'll let you get out of the ring, start getting into your position and start chatting to these riders as they complete their GCL second round. Let's remind you as to what took place at the end of GCL round one, because there were a handful of teams that finished on double clear, the perfect score. I remind you, it's very, very rare in Global Champions League to have a clean sheet, what they refer to a clean sheet. Double clear in both rounds, not a single fence going down. Gregory Bordeaux suggested maybe out of the 5 teams that are double clear, we might only see 2. It suggests that perhaps some fences are going to fall. So let's show you which of those teams find themselves on double clear now. We already mentioned the fact that Doha Falcons will be the final team to go. They are the team to catch, of course. They were the best team based on time, and because of that, they will be the last team to go. And they then, Julien Aketa, Jérôme Guéry, will be the final combinations out. Are we then looking at potential GCL winners of Ramatuelle Tropez coming out of the Doha Falcons, Jérôme Guéry and Julien Aketa? But of course, Madrid in Motion, they were the final team to go in Cannes just a week ago. If you remember, there were those very uncharacteristic falls that came from Eduardo Alvarez Asna. Kim Emmen jumped clear. Will that be a repeat here at Tehran tonight? We'll wait and see. Asnar returns for a late start later on this evening. And Victor Bettendorf, for anyone who does not know the name, what a season that man had in 2024. Going on to win the LGCT Grand Prix of Rome, getting himself a golden ticket to the GC playoffs at the end of the season, and going on to win the LGCT Super Grand Prix in Riyadh last year. It was a mind-blowing season for Victor Bettendorf. He now comes up for Madrid in Motion. Falcons White United. We heard from Hans-Dieter Dreyer. If he says when you are jumping alongside Gilles Thomas that anything can happen. And how much praise has Gilles Thomas received over the last 12 to 18 months? If you recall, his Falcons White United teammates of Marcus Eining, formerly Edwina Thompson-Alexander, they have all been incredibly complimentary of this now 27-year-old, and he continues to jump on Callista, still only 9 years of age. Can they go on to win it? Shanghai Swans, championship leaders, Daniel Deusser and Max Kuhner. Let's not forget Riesebeck International, powered by Horse Gym as well, as Christian Kuckuck and Philipp Weishout. Again, the dream team for Riesebeck International come forward. That means that there are 5 teams that are in the front runner seat to go on and win, but a handful of those teams on 4 that are still in the mix as well. Where does the winner come from tonight? We'll find out. Global Champions League round 2 is next.